And now to connecting IRL, and IRL, of course, stands for in real life, helping people achieve more quality interpersonal connection. Our next guest is communication expert Jefferson Fisher, 12 million followers across social media, turns conflict into connection and shows you how to do the same in his brand new book. You see it right there, The Next Conversation, Argue Less, Talk More. Good morning, Jefferson. Welcome to
Yes, welcome.
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
So listen, you know how much I love this book.
Yeah.
It is filled, you know, Oprah says those aha moments. It's like every page is an aha moment. And it's so important for these times, right? Tell us what these two questions are that you ask yourself before you go into these difficult conversations.
Anytime you go into a difficult conversation, you want to ask yourself, number one, what am I trying to win here? What do I have a goal? Because most people wait until they're talking to figure out what they want to say. Number two, what's the value that you want to use? Is it kindness? Is it justice? Is it a sense of authenticity? Whenever you have that value, it's going to help guide that conversation a whole lot better.
That's great. Something else you say here, and I try to use this message with my kids, and now I have like reinforcements here with your information, but that when you enter a conversation, it shouldn't be to win the argument, right?
Yeah. Most of the time, when you set out to win an argument, you'll lose the relationship because you lose that connection. Most of all, I mean, really what you want is the first to apologize whenever you try to win an argument. Instead, you want to see arguments as not something to win, but something to unravel.
Something to unravel, okay.
Yeah.
And you talk about confidence, but not the kind that most people would assume.
No, not the confidence of feeling like you have to have something before you go into an argument. That's not it. Confidence is the outcome. Confidence is the result. And so what you need to have is your assertive voice. When you can find a way to stop over apologizing and undercutting your words, you're going to sound a lot more confident.
So, you know, that's the first video I saw from you about over apologizing. I felt like I was always like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, no, 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 wait. We changed that conversation. It's so good. I think we should tell the audience, though, you are a trial attorney by trade.
That's right.
That's why it's so interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because you're trained to argue, and yet you're really now trying to listen more and do all of that. In these divisive times, when we're having these tough conversations, how do you stay strong?
Oh, I mean, the biggest thing of whenever you go into these difficult conversations is not having that watery language where you say, hey, Gio, are you good? How's everything? How's your cat and everything? So listen, and then you all of a sudden you go downhill. Everybody knows it. They're waiting for that hammer. Instead, you just need to be honest and say, this is going to be a difficult conversation, or you're not going to like what I have to say. You let the person be emotionally stable enough and rely on the words rather than that feeling.
In TV, that's like, don't bury the lead.
You got it.
Like,
Exactly right.
what are we talking about here? Just say it right
Get
out
to
of
the
gate.
point. You got it.
You know, another problem with arguments is we get so defensive about things. How do we stop ourselves from automatically getting in that like defensive posture?
Yeah, whenever you get defensive, what you're doing is slamming the door, locking it, and then being mad that they haven't come in. Instead, you just need to let things go. You need to find ways to drop it and keep somebody else from getting defensive. You can use phrases like, I agree. Not agree with what they said, but I agree this is what we're talking about. I agree we should be bringing this up and discuss this. Whenever you say I agree, they're going to feel heard and acknowledged.
So one of your videos that I've seen that I really loved is ways to like reframe and kind of hold your ground when someone's saying something rude or belittling. And one of the first things you said was, ask them to say it again, which I was like, oh, whoa. Because when you're like, wait, will you repeat that? All of a sudden, that puts them on defense. So explain more about this, how you can respond.
Yeah, so when somebody says something that's rude or belittling, you're going to ask the question, I didn't catch that. Can you say it again? And now it doesn't have that effect because they were looking for that hit of dopamine. And when if they do have the guts to repeat it, most of the time they don't, you're going to say something with, did you mean? Like, did you mean for that to sound insulting? Did you mean for that to sound rude? Or how do you feel when you say that? Or imagine being the person okay with saying that. And then they can't have anything else to say because now the spotlight's on them and not on you.
And I think a lot of people, when we're having tough conversations, you're not necessarily always honest, and you don't want to fully like tell someone how you feel.
Right.
But you say there's actually kindness in really saying the truth.
Yeah, the kindness is in being direct. When you're trying to skirt around the truth and say, hey, you know, listen, I know everything's okay, and you come at it really soft and you bury the lead, it's actually not that kind. When you want to create confusion, that's ways of not being direct. So you want to lead with that directness. It's going to go a whole lot better.
Why'd you want this book out there?
This is a book that's going to help somebody change their life with what they say next. Some people teach you how to play an instrument. I tell you the chords to play. I give you the sheet music. And if you read this book, you're going to have a much better conversation. conversation and a much better life.
That elevator pitch was so good.
Yeah,
you
you have a couple seconds left. I noticed your family here too. Does this stuff work with your kids? I'm desperate to know.
And some of them does, but the thing is, they kind of know the gist by now.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no, they. It's funny is they're just kind of little mini copycats of us, and so I can see that in them. And
There they are.
Yeah,
Hiding behind the desk.
yeah. They're very excited.
No arguments in your house.
Zero whatsoever.
Jefferson, you're
Thanks
awesome.
for having me, Gio.
So great.
Thanks for coming in.
Nice to meet you.
Really great to see you.